Everyone, I'm going to show you the curtain wall dimensioning tool. So what this tool does is it adds dimensions to curtain walls, punched openings, etc. And it works in elevation views or now section views. So to use the tool, you need to navigate to WW drafting, and you want to go to dimensioning. It's going to be in the middle, and then CWDT, abbreviation for curtain wall dimensioning tool. So click the button, and then this little selection screen is going to pop up. So the selection screen, basically, it allows you to much easily select just the curtain walls, because it's going to filter out all the walls in the view that are just curtain walls, so it's easier to select them when you have, like, say you have like SRT walls or something in front of these walls. So it should make it easier to do that. So then once you've selected the walls, this like placement options form will pop up. So depending on if you're working in an elevation view or a section view, you have these lists of options that you can apply to the wall. I'm just going to use pretty much all the defaults just to show you what it does. So hit finish, and it adds these vertical dimensions in the top with centerline symbols, as well as a DP to DP. It also adds a DP to DP here for the horizontals, as well as TOH dimensions to each horizontal on both these curtain walls. And it also this dimension that dimensions from the nearest level to the top of the stack joint. So as you see here, there's this weird 1/2 here, and I actually noticed this when I was dimensioning this, and this is actually a modeling issue where these curtain lines or curtain grids, excuse me, aren't matching up. So this is actually could be used to check to see if things aren't aligned correctly. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna delete all this stuff. I could have probably just hit undo, but it's okay. And now, if you look at these two current grids, as we saw, there's a 1/2 distance between the two, consistent with that dimension. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to move this down 1/2 inch. So now these two curtain grids are aligned. And then I'm going to run curtain wall dimension tool again. And there you go. Dimensions are good. Now I'm going to show you a little bit more of the options. So here we are again on the same elevation, and I'm going to show you some of these options now. So to enable these options, just uncheck this checkbox, use default, and then you can change either the vertical or the horizontal options. So on the vertical over here, you see this text box that says offset. This is the offset from the top of the whole wall, of like the entire wall system, to the start of the first dimension string. Conversely, it could also you could also start on the bottom, and that 5-foot offset here, or 5.3 or whatever, would be from the bottom of the wall to the first dimension string from the bottom. And what I mean by that is, like, if you hit this place, you can just choose any point in space and see how I got now 5.5. If I click there, I got 1.6. And that's, I think, the easiest way to find a placement point for the dimension. But as you see here, it just kind of doesn't round it. I want to add that functionality later, but I mean, this is okay, I think. It doesn't really matter. I don't think we have a standard for how far the dimensions need to be from the top of the wall or the bottom of the wall, so you can do it on the bottom too. So now that's unchecked. And then there's also this checkbox for grid dimension. That's for the grids that be like up here. There's no grids in this view, so I can't really show that. So let's move on to the horizontal to horizontal dimensions. You could also uncheck this just to mess around. Same deal here with the offset, and then the place. So if I wanted to place dimensions over here, I changed that value to 8 now. Let's try putting it closer now, 2.9. And the last options here for elevation view is the place angle symbols. So what that does is it places angle symbols when you have corners or jams that have like an angle, and it'll just automatically place an angle symbol with the correct angle for you. But as I said, or as before, there's no corners or jams that have that condition, so it's not placing any. But with these options, there won't be any vertical to vertical dimensions, and the offset for the horizontal to horizontal will be slightly closer to the wall. And did that. And now I'm going to show you a little bit about the section view options. So here we are now in a section view. So to do the current wall dimension tool in section view, it's the same deal. Go here, select all. And as far as options, automatically the section view is checked when you're in a section view, so you shouldn't really have to uncheck or check these, but you can. To uncheck use default, you can put horizontal to horizontal dimensions. It's the same deal as the elevation views, and you can place where you want it to go. Place on the left or the right. There's a checkbox for dimension to face the system. There's a checkbox for a dimension that's going to be dimensioned to each level. So if we hit finish, just going to use all the default options. This is what we get. We get this DP dimension, this dimension for each level, and it looks like it gave us a dimension that's supposed to go from each horizontal, but it looks like there's a bug here. I'll be fixed in the future. And there's also a stack joint dimension here as well. And that's basically how the tool works. It's always a work in progress, and yeah, that's it. Hope it works for everyone.